Hello, beautiful. This is Shannon Thompson, professional makeup artist, coming to you from the pretty department. All right. So before we get into what we're going to talk about today, which is unions and non-unions, figure out what works for you. Let's first talk about getting my makeup book if you haven't already got it. Makeup is Just Colored Dirt, available everywhere books are sold and Amazon.com. If you've already purchased my book, then thank you. I hope that you're learning a whole lot about it, and I'm thinking about maybe writing another one. Also, you should subscribe to this YouTube channel. So if you're already on YouTube, just click subscribe. It's right there. It's super simple. 123 Sesame Street, that easy. And also follow me on Instagram, which is Makeup Thompson, THOMPSON. Makeup spelt the correct way, MAKEUP. Makeup Thompson. That easy. We got all that down fact. So let's get into it and talk about union versus non-union. So I get this a lot if you're a makeup artist, I get a lot of questions from other makeup artists, or you run into other people that are interested in makeup. And a lot of times people don't even know that there is a makeup union. They're like, oh my God, I didn't even know there was a union. So yes, there is a makeup artist union. There are several makeup artist unions. There's one for the East Coast, which is Local 798. It stands for IATSE, Local 798. IATSE is International Alliance of Theater Stage Employees. I always forget it off the top of my head. 798, and it's IATSE 706, which is out of California, which covers the entire West Coast. All right. So if you're on either one of those coasts, you can look into them and you can Google it and get all the information that's about it. So what's the point of either being in the union or not being in the union? Well, the reason why you will maybe want to be in the union is, one, you have a lot of representation. All right. Their rates are normally better. People are there to negotiate and also make sure that you have safe practices and safe conditions. And if anything does come up, you can call somebody and say, hey, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't look right. If you're discriminated against, or if some things are just not appropriate, you can also go out to your union and say, hey, this isn't right. And they will go there and champion behind you. You're also, like I said, going to have a higher rate or a better rate, and you're going to make sure that your rate is respectable and livable. You also are going to get health insurance if you work a certain amount of days. You're going to have a pension. There's lawyers there. So it's a lot of benefits for the union. Here's the other thing about union. If you want to work in fashion, or you want to work in bridal, or you want to work in music, I wouldn't suggest you 100% getting in the union, because it doesn't necessarily help you. The union is normally for people that want to work in major motion film, television, if you want to work in theater and those particular things. So theater, Broadway type of theater, those type of shows, if you want to work in major motion television, or a lot of other medias like Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all of those things that have their own content as well. And if you want to work in major motion film, or even some independent films that are union films, a lot of times you have to be in the union in order for you to work on these films consistently. So in order for you to work on those films, some of the other benefits are you can win an Academy Award. You can win an Emmy Award. You can win a Tony Award. You can be acknowledged through the Makeup Artist Guild, which are all union things as well. So there are other accolades that can happen if you be a part of them. A real life story is one of the main reasons why I am a part of the Makeup Artist Union, because I am a part of 798. Thank you very much for a very long time. Is because my dream is to win an Academy Award. I would like to be a brown girl that wins one. You know, there aren't a lot of us that are out there. And so, you know, in order for that to happen, I need to work in major motion film, and I need to be on union sets, and I have to be qualified for those things. So that's one of the things that's super important to me, in addition to having, you know, rates that are reasonable and that are respectful, having a team of people that if I do get in trouble or things look a little bit iffy, or I have a question about something, I know I have a whole team of people that are behind me. Also making sure that I have health insurance, and I have a pension, and I have a retirement, and all those things that you may not think about when you first start off as being a makeup artist. When you start doing it for years over time, you really want to, you know, consider those things. It is a real career. It is a real job. They are real money and real benefits to it. So if it's something that you want to do, I would encourage you to look into the steps of being able to do that. All right. And there are steps that you have to do that. To get into the union, you have to work so many hours in non-union things. All right. As a makeup artist, to get paid for them. under a certain amount of time period, and then you have to apply for the union when they're looking for new makeup artists to be a part of, to join. You have to fill out an application, you have to submit a packet or submit your work. There's an in-person interview or a Skype interview that you have to do, and then they will have to tell you if you got in or not. And there is a fee. It is not free. There is a fee. It is a large fee. It changes from time to time, but currently I think the fee is between $3,500 and $5,000. Don't quote me on it, because it changes from time to time. The initial fee, and then there are dues that you have to pay every quarter, or you could pay it once a year. All right, so you have to pay it every year or every quarter in order for you to be able to maintain and stay in the union in good status. All right, and if you're not in good status, then they will ask you to leave. It is something that you can be asked to leave from. If you work so hard to get into it, you want to maintain the status and stay it and keep it in the union. But again, it's something that's benefit for you. Non-union. So if you're like, all right, Shannon, that's the union, I know something about it, but I don't know if it's something I want to do at this point, that's totally okay. It can be something you're working toward or something you're not working toward. Non-union are jobs that are not a part of major motion film, that are not a part of a major network or television network, or like I said, other things such as Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, that aren't necessarily major networks anymore, but they're major platforms, because the world is changing and how we get our content comes in a lot of different ways. Or you don't want to work in Broadway type of shows or union shows. So for example, you're working in off-Broadway shows that aren't union, but they're still theater or smaller things as well. Those would be your non-union things. If you're working in music videos, if you're working on commercials but they're not union commercials, if you're working in music, like touring and those things as well, if you're doing makeup directly for a client or directly for an artist, well, that would be non-union. If you're doing corporate things, those are non-union. If you're doing fashion and fashion week, those are non-union. If you're doing like editorial things such as magazine commercials or print work, those are all non-union jobs. All right, now sometimes you may have to have an agent, or you may have to have a manager in order, or be represented from those things, depending on what level that you're at for non-union jobs, but not always. So again, there's a lucrative thing that you can make, and lucrative money that you can make, and lucrative opportunities that you can be a part of, and not have anything to do with the union. All right, again, if you are a non-union, you will have to pay for your own health insurance, and you may have to create your own pension, but that's all things that adults should do, and you should do just to be responsible in general, so that you have something later on. God forbid something happens to you or happens to your talent, and you want something to, have a little bit of a cushion. So those are the things that you may have to, just pay into on your own, and not have much of a cushion or somebody else that's looking into that for you. But again, if you are non-union and you decide to not be a part of the union, there are tons of opportunities out there for you to be a makeup artist. Again, it's up to you to figure out what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Here's another thing. If you do join the union, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do only union jobs, because a lot of people feel like that. Now I'm in the union, okay, all right, and I only have to do union jobs. No, you're encouraged to do union jobs. You want to do union jobs, but if you're asked to do, if there's somebody calls you to do a non-union commercial and the rate is really great, you're totally okay to be able to do that. If you want to work on Fashion Week, and you want to go and do something in fashion, totally okay for you to do that. If you do a magazine cover, it's totally okay for you to do that. So you can be in the union and do union and non-union jobs to a point, and then you can also be in and not be a part of the union as well, and still work completely fine for years and years to come. It's a personal preference for you, and something that you want to decide. And I would also say that if you know somebody that's in the union, or you're interested in the union, have a conversation with them so they can understand how it works and how it doesn't work, and see if it works for you. You can always pick up the phone and call in a union and have a conversation with them, send them an email, and weigh out the pros and cons for your particular thing. So I hope that you learned something in the pretty department today about unions versus non-union unions, and maybe you will be a union member of my union 798. And if you're a part of 706, hi, hope you're a part of that union, because we're all one big family. If you decide not to be in the union, that's amazing too. Okay, all right, I'll see you out there in this makeup world, because there's enough work for everybody, and I want everybody to win.